Now I'm actually interested. Harambe?
Hanabi.
Not Harambe?
Not Harambe. But say R.I.P. Harambe. I almost said save Harambe. It's too late.
Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I am Matt.
And I'm Jason.
And you know what I've really been fiending for?
What's that? Hot dog.
Hot dog flavored water, maybe? I really want something that's like super exclusive and hard to get, like so hard to get that it's not even sold.
It's hard to find.
Can we do that?
You know what? Maybe we can find something that's like brewery only or membership only.
Membership only.
To a brewery.
That'd be perfect.
You ain't got a tap room.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Like a nano brewery that
very
just
small.
Brews just like a few barrels a year.
And maybe just barrel-aged stouts and barley wines.
Nothing but barrel-aged stouts and barley wines.
Why don't you try that in front of you?
Oh, hey, what's this? We got here Mizunara Electric Roads from Private Press Brewing out of California. Is that right?
Yeah, Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. We've talked about them, I don't know on the show, but we've talked about them in private before, and these guys are super exclusive. I don't think I've ever had anything from them, but they really are a small operation, right?
For sure. I've had a few things. One of our friends, Todd, and then Chad, another guy, they were in half on a membership for a while.
Right.
So I did get to try a few things from them.
And these are specifically membership only bottles, which means you can't walk into the brewery.
Correct.
You can't just buy a bottle. You can't even get a draft pour, right? Because they don't have a tap room.
To my knowledge, there's no tap room. There's no draft pours. It is membership only brewery. And then they ship inside of California.
Okay.
But the rest of them have to go pick up if you don't do that. And then they don't ship out of the state.
Yeah.
So if you have to get a proxy there, it gets a little pricey.
And I tried to look up and see like how big their operation is, but their website looks like it was created on MS-DOS in like 1982. So I can't even navigate it. And I Googled it and I still couldn't get any concrete information, but I read that it said nano brewery, which just means less than 15,000 barrels per year, which is actually kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And I doubt this guy.
I'd say he's way
because it's just one guy, right?
One dude, Brad Clark.
And
from Jackie O's.
So give us some background on Private Press. I know you know about these guys.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell us about them.
So they were formed by Brad Clark, what you said. Actually, their membership opened in 2020. Brad Clark, we knew him before from Jackie O's.
Jackie O's in Ohio.
That's right. Very good barrel-aged stouts, probably the closest to us at that time.
Right.
You know, the main knock on them or whatever it was, a little bit thin on the mouthfeel.
I remember that was the word.
Before that, they had an infection issue.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Like sour stouts.
It was bad. Yeah. But I think what they learned from that probably, or he learned from that was, if I remember correctly, it's been a while, but I think they had some of their wild ales, some of their sours in the same like area as they had their barrel-aged stouts and barley wines.
And you're just basically asking for cross-contamination.
You're begging for cross-contamination.
Yeah.
So he left there. I want to say, I wish I had the date in here. So actually, he left. He started Jackie O's as head brewer in 2006.
Is that when Jackie O started before that, though?
Oh, right? Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Because we went up there. You've been up there before, to Athens, Ohio?
No, I know you all went.
Yep.
And I know this was like back when we had the Facebook group. People would like make pilgrimages up there, but it was kind of in the middle of nowhere.
It is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's Ohio University is where it's at.
Oh, okay.
It's a college town, and when college is not in, there's nothing there.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was there, and then they have two places downtown, or they used to. They had one downtown, like a bar, like an old bar.
Jackie O's did?
Jackie O's. It kind of like went on forever. Like, you would walk into it, and it's very small. Then you go around the bar, there's like another little area.
Okay.
Then you walk up the stairs, there's an outside area.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
The A1A.
It
downtown?
does. Yeah.
Downtown Lexington.
Yep.
We used to have an old bar, and it was like 12 bars in one. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You could go in.
You'd hear hip hop, and then you'd hear rock and country. Like
and then there'd be like metal around the corner, and then there'd be like, you keep walking and somebody's playing volleyball.
Yep,
like,
volleyball.
Oh, that was the craziest shit ever. I remember that.
That was wild, actually.
That was, and then like all the walls were made of like plywood, and they're like painted. Like you felt like you were accidentally walking in like, you know, like a poor version of P. Diddy's sex dungeon. It's just like, you don't know if there's going to be blood on the floor or what, but if you get lost, you end up like, you know.
They did give me baby oil when I walked in there one time. I didn't know what it was.
Just save them and put them in your basement for later, yeah.
So anyway, they had that spot downtown. Plus, if you walked outside you go into like a little pool hall area. They bought that. They had like separate taps over there.
Right.
Then they have like an out of downtown area too. Like I think they brewed off site there.
Okay.
But it's pretty big. I mean, it's like kind of runs that town, right? Like it's a big thing there. But he left there in 2019. So left Ohio. Actually moved out to California. I think he got married about the same time.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're married. It was I think her name's Adair. Is her name?
Okay.
From Sarah, Saint Adarius Rustic Ale.
SARA, yeah. So that's the acronym, Saint Adarius Rustic Ales.
Yeah.
But her name is, you think, Adair?
I think it's Adair. I'm 90% sure on that.
Okay.
We'll say it's right.
So she kind of like pushed herself into the acronym?
Yeah. I would assume it's her family.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
But she's into beer too. So
Yeah.
he moved out there and he started this brewery. I guess his big passion was just barrel-aged stouts, just barrel-aged barley, barrel-aged beers, right?
Right.
And that's what he wanted to do. So Jackie O's did a lot of different things. I mean,
Yes.
you might have a
They did
cucumber
sours
sour
and
an
they did-
IPA.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, they did a little bit of everything.
So anyway, the name Private Press though comes from, what's it come from? Do you know?
You're going to tell me, but you actually told me, but I'll let you say it.
So Private Press, it's a self-published vinyl record. I didn't know that was actually what it's called.
Okay.
So it's put out by people, not record labels, right? So
Right.
really small. You know,
Sure.
he's a big, I don't know what you call it, record head. I don't know, vinyl head.
Vinyl, yeah.
something like that. Whatever.
Vinyl douche.
That might be better. That might be better.
No offense, Brad. Sorry.
Sorry. So then, he started this brewery out there, and it's members only, like we talked about.
Okay.
So some other ones that we actually know about, Horace. I was a member there for about 1 year.
They're out of California.
They are. It was the worst membership I've ever had.
Was it really?
That
Why?
for sure. Price.
Oh, okay.
And then by the time, so that's what happened with these. Like, you got to think, you're paying $40 for a bottle, plus you get the tax, plus your proxy has to go get it.
Yeah, so
Plus
you're
have to
paying
ship
some
it to
guy
you.
to kind of like do the
well, even if you
logistics.
don't pay him, like, you want to send him some thank you beers or something,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you're talking shipping from out there for a 12 shipper of beer is probably $45.
Yeah.
So add that on top of your already $50 per bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're adding
$100 per bottle.
Plus,
Yeah.
some of them just weren't that good.
Weren't that great, yeah.
Anyway, other ones, Floodland. Have you heard of them? We've had a few
Yeah,
of theirs.
Floodland did a lot of sours,
And then,
right?
that's right. And then Hanabi Lager Company. We actually tried one of theirs.
How do you spell that?
Hanabi. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Japanese?
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It is now.
It is, but they make lagers. That's all they
Okay.
do. But it's very good, very hard to get. I think Sam actually gave us one to try.
Do they? So are you saying that they do membership?
These are all the same. So Horace, Floodland, and Hanabi, they're all membership only breweries. Like you
Right.
can't go there as the public.
And Hanabi is a membership only. You can't get their stuff outside of the membership, and they only do lagers?
Lagers.
Does that fly?
Guess
Does
it
that
sells.
sell?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that one I got off Sam was like $30.
I remember this now.
Yep.
I remember them bringing
We
it, and
tried
I
it.
remember it being good, but
It was good.
I don't know if it's membership quality good. I love a good lager, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's not the kind of beer that you just be like, everybody get in line, and
True.
you're going to pay $50 for a bottle, and you're going to get it when you get it.
I don't know that anybody's going to line up for a lager.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But maybe out there in California, though, you're in modern times. We talk about Bottle Logic. You're in the center of all that stuff. Maybe you want a lager.
Well, that's like the FOBAB mentality. FOBAB, the Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers in Chicago. It's nothing but barrel-aged beers. So after you've been drinking 20% stouts and barley wines for 2 hours, the lager is like the best thing you've ever heard, or like an IPA.
Well, the time I went, the longest line was for Phase 3 when they had that little Oasis up there.
Yeah.
And you could get like a Kolsch. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like anything besides
Anything
that.
besides a
Yeah.
stout or a barley wine.
Yeah, after a while, it's too much.
Yeah, I could get, I suppose if everybody's pushing out over there, they're pushing out these high gravity stouts and barley wines, you
Yeah.
just be like, hey, let me get a lager. But again, it's just like, that's the kind of beer that you can get anywhere.
It better be the best lager you've ever had.
Are they
to be
barrel-aged
membership.
lagers?
I'm sure they make some that way. I don't know.
Okay. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around
I mean,
that.
wasn't our Jack's Abbey? Aren't they lager only up that way? We stopped there.
Yeah, Jack's Abbey Lager House, but they do.
I don't know if
I
they
guess
do.
you're right.
I think they all do.
They
I
do
think
high
just
gravity lagers too, though.
Yeah.
So
I mean, facts are
maybe-
optional, so we might be.
I know
wrong,
we
but-
could be making all this.
Yeah.
Up. Yeah, I guess they could be doing high gravity lagers too. I mean, there's no reason to.
What is a high gravity lager? Don't they have like a God? I should know this shit.
So it's not. I mean, so it's semantics here, but like when you talk like an ale, which is going to be like a stout or a barley wine IPA. Honestly, most of the beers that you get
Correct.
at craft breweries, you can really toy with it. You know, you can get something as low as like 2% alcohol. You can get it upwards of like 20%, you know, especially if you do like Icebox where you just kind of freeze it like that. Lager's a little more difficult. It's really hard to get a lager really strong just because of the way it ferments. So I think at Jack's Abbey, the highest percent beer I've ever seen there might be around 8.
Yeah, they did the Framing Hammer series. Remember that?
And
one?
I think those were right around 8%. Those were great.
They were great,
but it was just like a thin kind of like
thin.
Yeah. So I mean, I still don't know exactly how crazy and creative you could get with just doing lagers membership only, but now I'm actually interested. Harambe?
Hanabi.
Not Harambe?
not Harambe. But say R.I.P. Harambe. I almost said save Harambe. It's too late to
save Hanabi. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do a deep dive on both of those when we get done here.
You know, one other thing about this brewery that Brad Clark has at their Private Press, they don't brew their own beer at his place. He doesn't have a brewing setup.
Is he
Gypsy Brewing.
out? Okay.
So he's going to other breweries, using their equipment, and then making his recipes.
Does he have a go-to, or does it really say?
It didn't really say. I looked that up. It didn't really say. But what he would do is in store.
You're saying that you couldn't navigate the MS-DOS website
I'm
from
saying
1984?
I couldn't get that to even open on my phone.
It's just like line of like code. Yeah.
It was
that
definitely
sounds about
awful.
right, yeah.
But once he actually brews them, he puts them directly into the barrels, is what it said.
Okay.
And then I guess he takes them back in those big tote packages. You know what I'm talking about, like plastic. You ever seen those?
You talking about barrels?
No, they're not barrels. So they're like probably 4 foot, 5 foot by 5 by 5. Like it's a square.
Okay.
It's a plastic industrial grade like tote. Casey used to do this out in Colorado.
I'm sure if I saw it, I'd know.
So it's like you just put all the liquid in there, seal it up, and then transport it in the back of your truck or whatever.
Like a semi or something.
No, you could put it in the back of a pickup.
Okay.
Or you could have like a U-Haul and put multiples. You know.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
We could do that.
We could do that. So it legit is a super duper small operation.
Oh, for sure.
If he's doing that and just taking it back to barrels and putting them in there, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
So go ahead. We'll keep going.
No. I mean, that's about it. I mean, he calls each barrel type a thread. So think apple brandy or bourbon or rye, stuff like that. So
I'm curious about if he's got such a small operation and he's operating on the nano scale. How does he get for this one a Mizunara cask?
So I think that we did an episode about that.
We
talked about
and those are apparently
rye.
Hard to get and they're expensive.
It makes me wonder if he got a whole cask or if he got he's putting treatments in the barrel. You know what I mean? Like a stave.
Okay, like staves or something. Or
something like little blocks of Mizunara. I don't know. But this one was very hard to get. So I mean, looking at this one, of course, membership only, but this was one per member, and then it was like a member sale that you could like a seller sale.
Okay. Where you could get more?
One.
Oh,
so
okay, I gotcha.
In a group I'm in nationally that is pretty much like cost plus is what it is. It's hard to get in that group. But anyway, there's 550 bottles made of this
That makes it even more rare.
I know, right? So 550 bottles made of this one. There's only 98 ratings on Untappd. It's averaging a 4.58.
Super low. Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay.
This one is a double barrel aged barley wine. Combination of 3 different barley wine recipes.
Great.
And then conditioned on Mizunara.
I love doing barley wines on here because I feel like they're underappreciated. Maybe in the United States. I wonder if they're appreciated more elsewhere, a barley wine.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't think so.
I mean, it can be such a complex beer, and they've got so much heft to them. I mean, they call it barley wine for a reason because it's basically like a wine,
True. I mean, this one's 17.3% ABV.
Yeah, that's insane. It's just like, one. But you just feel like nobody really, I mean, I guess nobody appreciates beer anymore, period. So
beer's kind of dead. I mean, we talked about this before is, you look at secondary, and that's not the end all be all, but it's kind of a barometer too, right? It tells you hype and activity around it. People excited about those beers.
Right, exactly.
There's really not any. So you look at Side Project, which we featured many times.
Yeah.
That carries some hype. And then honestly, after that, it's IPAs.
Okay.
IPAs.
Is 8th State
everywhere.
out of
Eighth
South
State
Carolina
just closed.
still?
Did you know this? They're closing.
What?
Yeah, man. I don't understand it, but they closed out of South Carolina. I think they might be closed by now.
Okay. Did it state why?
No,
because they were carrying a lot of clout too.
Closing it up. They were very popular. Very popular.
That's kind of sad. So the past what, 3 years, 2 years even. It's just like breweries have been closing left and right.
Yeah.
It really is eye-opening to see, I guess, like who's still standing and like why.
It's
You
weird,
know what I
though,
mean?
like with them, so I used to say, we've been there before.
Yeah.
And it's a small place.
It's a small
Like
place.
you sit in front of where they brew, right? I mean, it's very small.
They had a lot. They had a core group of dedicated fans.
They had a ton of people there the day or two we went, whatever.
Yeah.
Their memberships were hard to get into. Their bottles sold out quickly. They carried a secondary value.
Yeah.
They seem to have events planned there quite a bit.
Kind of makes you scratch your head.
It does. The only thing I can think of is maybe they got pushed out of that building because it was a weird spot. Like it was like, I feel like
weird.
there was lawyer offices and then them. You know what I mean? Like
It was, but I mean, still, like you can relocate.
that's what I would think. Why wouldn't you relocate? Maybe they just separated the owners. I don't know how many owners they had.
Yeah, there's got to be maybe something else going
I
beyond.
bet at least one of those guys or girls struck out on their own. Surely, you know what I mean?
so.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
Because somebody was behind those beers. They were really good. Their barrel stouts.
That's a big decision to just say, to have that kind of like clout and just be like, nah, we're done.
I mean, they had a good setup too. They had the nice boards, untapped roll, and they had everything going. So it was cool.
Well, that sucks.
It's a lot of talky. We need more drinky.
Well, let's open this one
Please.
from Private Press.
Please. So have you ever had anything with Mizunara, like in a beer? I don't know that I have.
No, we talked about this on our...
We talked about with the rye. We tried the Raconteur.
Yeah, the Raconteur Rye, which was great.
It was?
We should do a follow-up episode with the
I've got
second
batch 2.
Do you really?
I do.
We'll have to do that. Yeah, that was great. And I'm enamored with the Mizunara culture. It's crazy just how expensive and hard to get and how good those barrels are. But no, I don't think I have. I'm trying to imagine. I can't think of any beers that I've had Mizunara in it.
No, if I did, I didn't know it, right? Like, I mean, I'm assuming
not
we
right,
didn't.
yeah.
Well,
I'm
one
assuming
of those we didn't because it's so hard to get.
One of those bottle shares where like there's like 100 bottles open and you're just kind of like, oh, just taking samples and you don't know what you have.
I was recently a guest on the Mashup podcast with Anthony and Kenny, and thanks for having me on, guys. But either way, what we talked about on there, I brought something up, and I'll bring it on this show too. I remember like craft beer journey, right? So the first bottle shares you go to, and with our groups, so ship whatever you want, and the locals.
Yeah.
When we would go to our major get-ups or meetups, once a year, you were so excited about the beers. Like there'd be people having an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
We're bringing this. We're doing a vertical. We're doing this.
Yeah.
I was like taking pictures and.
Oh, yeah.
I associated with people and talked to them, but I kind of wasn't there. Like I was kind of like click, click, click,
You were
click, click.
detached, yeah.
Correct. But then fast forward to now, like you got back from Michigan a few months back.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what we drank.
No.
Like legit, I have no idea. People will bring a beer like, oh, you going to open yours? I'm like, just open it. I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah, just
open it.
bring me a beer.
Yeah.
Like,
Which, in my opinion, that's the funnest part of it, getting together.
100%. And then we had good beers. I'm like, this is great. What is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. I don't
was
know.
good. It was
Open another
great.
one.
Absolutely great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. That is the funnest part of it. And I was the same way.
Yeah.
I remember,
Everybody is when you dive into it.
Yeah, I remember we would go on like road trips. You and I, we used to do an annual beer trip.
Quite a bit.
And I remember every stop we went to, we would go to a brewery and we would sit down and everybody would order like a flight.
Yep.
So we would have between like 4 of us. Each one of us would have like 4 to 8 beers. I mean, we'd have like 32 fucking beers on the
Easy.
table.
We
the little samples.
We did the whole
2-ounce
tap list if we could.
Yeah, like little 1 ounce, 2 ounce things. But all of a sudden, it became a job, and it's like nobody's talking. And I remember I would look up. Everybody's got their phones. They're all typing. They're all taking pictures, and it's like that is why the rest of the culture hated beer nerds is because of that specific thing. And I remember just kind of being like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like, let's just hang out and have a good time, And then I got back on my phone. I had to make sure I ticked everything and logged everything in.
Well, I take pictures still of the beers, but then I'm like, I bet I've got 3 years or 4 years worth of beers to check in. Like
You know what the worst part is?
checking them in.
No, well, that is the worst part, and I don't do that anymore. But like on my phone, I get notifications from my photo app,
oh, gosh.
and it's like, hey, do you remember this from 4 years ago? And it'll be nothing but pictures of me holding beer.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't want to remember that. That's really boring, and I have to keep scrolling through. It's taking up so much storage space on my phone.
Oh, for
it's
sure.
Like horrible. Yeah.
It's in the cloud for me, but
Yeah. So you're.
so we digressed a little
spirit,
bit,
yeah.
but still talking about beer. So what are you thinking about this one on the nose? I mean, it's a triple, I guess double barrel aged barley wine.
So the nose is almost a little spicy.
It is. There's a little spice to it. I agree with that.
It's borderline rye, but it's not. It's something like a little bit more like, I don't know what kind of spice, but it's like I'm thinking of like some sort of kitchen spice, and it's very prevalent. What were our notes for Mizunara barrels before? Do you remember?
It's a great question. I actually still have my notes, so let me see what we put down there.
And I'm interested to find out because I remember there was a specific type of wood.
We put baking spice, butterscotch, and orange zest.
I've actually got my notes here somewhere too.
Look at there.
I remember. I'm gonna find it. It said there's a specific type of rare wood that Mizunara smells like, and now I want to know what it is. Oh, here it is.
It's almost.
So Mizunara is supposed to have notes of sandalwood, the tonka bean, which is a cousin to vanilla bean, and Kiara incense, made from aloes wood. That's what I was thinking of. I wonder if that is the aloes wood.
I could definitely see that being incense. No shit.
Yeah, like I mean, it is aromatic.
Like a head shop or whatever, and you smell, you know what I mean? They got the incense burning.
Crazy. And I'd like to try that incense, but if I recall, it's like $50 a fucking stick.
That's right. We talked about that.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about eating the incense. Yeah. I would not advise that. We would not advise that. We do not condone eating incense.
For $50 a stick, you better fucking believe I'm going to eat the shit out of that. I was going to say we need to get one for the show, but that's pretty boring. Lighting an incense stick and
just sit and watch it.
Yeah, watch it burn down and be like, smells like incense.
We can catch up on our Untapped. While we
do that, we'll just like stare at our phones.
I'll get like eight beers in by that time.
Yeah. But I wonder if that's aloes wood that I'm getting, almost a kind of like spicy, like kitchen spice kind of like.
I know it sounds weird, but I'm with you there. Like I understand it now. It brings it back through. It smells like you just went into a shop that's burning incense.
Yeah,
like 100%.
Yeah,
it's like 10%, but it's there. You know, it's there. What about taste or what about looks? I mean, I look at it. It's very dark. But when I swirl it around, it's not very viscous.
It's not sticking to the glass.
No, really there's no legs really, and it's 17.3.
I like to look at the edge of the meniscus here, where the fluid is like touching the glass.
Look for brown.
And how well you can see through that. This actually is a pretty thin beer.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's bad.
Which is the same knock that Jackie O's always had.
Yeah, it is.
Jackie O's made some great beers, but they were thin.
But yeah, sticking it in my mouth, it's kind of the similar. It is a little thin. It tastes good.
It's good.
I like it. I'm getting some notes of cola, which is not my favorite byproduct of a stout.
I get a little cinnamon.
Yeah,
a little cinnamon
and I wonder if that stems from that Mizunara as well, right?
Could be. I mean, I think of amber on them, and I think cinnamon, but Mizunara could have some of those characteristics too.
Yeah, it could.
I don't know.
But I'm getting a lot of barrel out of it. I wish it had a little more body. I enjoy this. I don't know what you paid for it, or I'm sorry, I don't know what the cost is.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So, membership. So membership is $300 plus tax.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
okay, what do you get?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get 10 releases. So you get 10 500 milliliter bottles.
Okay.
They're roughly $25 to $35 each.
Okay.
So that's not horrible.
It's not horrible.
You get a set of glassware.
Okay.
And then you can purchase additional bottles. So it's not like you get a discount or anything, it doesn't say, but you can purchase extra ones. Okay. That's how I got this one.
Okay.
So a guy was in the membership, had a bottle. He posted up, when anybody like this bottle, because I can get in a sale or so.
Yeah.
If I get through, like you have to go first come, first serve.
Really? Even if you're a member?
Even if you're, only if you're a member, yeah. So he
Wait,
was
how many
member.
memberships? Did you say how many memberships do they have?
You know, I want to say 600.
Oh, okay, that's a lot. Is it hard to become a member?
I've never had the chance. I've never seen it.
Okay, yeah.
But the price kind of like, they keep going up. This was the first one in 2020. Yeah. So I think when I talked to Todd about it, like there's a lot of price creep with these.
Yeah.
You're looking instead of 25 to 35, 35 to 50 now.
Okay. And I've had memberships in the past, and it's the same thing. Like it keeps creeping up, and I've dropped all of them except for one, which I may not keep. It's so much, and it's just a lot of alcohol. And it's just like you kind of at the end of the day, it's like, is it worth it to just when you can get some really good stuff off the shelf now, and where the industry is kind of slowing down, it's not as hard to get great stuff.
I think it's also changed a lot with us. You know, we used to have a lot of beer shares or bottle shares, and they're just not there anymore.
No.
And then we had those, like you want to bring a bottle that it's rare, it's nice. It's like I want to share this with other people, right?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of those at home.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot of people to share them with because the bottle shares aren't there anymore.
Yeah,
so it's kind of a weird thing. But talk about cost on this one. So This was $44 plus tax, so say $50 bucks. Plus you got to ship it and all that. So you're probably $55 in this bottle.
Okay.
Would you pay? Would you buy a membership first off?
If I'm basing it solely on this example, I'm probably gonna pass, unfortunately. And that price of that bottle, that's gonna be a relatively solid no. I'm not saying it's bad though. Like by saying that, it sounds like I don't like the beer. I actually enjoy the beer. In fact, based on this, I would like to try more, and I would be curious to see what else they're putting out. But if it was just based on this, and they're like, okay, you're in or you're out, I'd probably be like, I'm sorry, I would need more information before I could like commit to that.
I've probably had 4 or 5 different beers from them through Todd, and they were all, I'd say 3 of the 4 were good.
Yeah.
1 of the 4 was not good.
Oh, really?
And that was enough for me to be like, you know. But I missed out on this one. So when the guy posted, it was like 6 in the morning. Okay. So I'm up early, you know. I'd say, hey, I'd like to have this one. But by the time I realized he had the other one for sale too, like the regular, because that would have been nice to try.
Mizunara, like the non-Mizunara.
Yeah, so
barrel.
Electric Roads is their double barrel aged barley wine.
Okay.
This is Mizunara, Electric Roads.
Yeah.
So I wish I could have tried the regular Electric Roads with this one to see if there's a difference.
We kind of need to discuss the fact that this does not really taste like a barley wine.
No, not at all.
Like I'm getting those slight cola notes. Like that's something from like a thinner stout.
It doesn't look like a barley wine either. like barley wine's more amber, reddish, dark, dark color.
Yeah.
But especially at the top, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But mine is black.
Yeah, this is a very, very dark beer. Yeah, this is like a closer to like a Rausch beer, but even darker.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, notes for me, like caramel's probably the best thing I'm picking up from it.
See, I'm not really even getting that.
There is a little bit of dryness that I'm assuming is from the Mizunara. Yeah. Like it's drying up my palate.
I'm getting a little bit of that. I'm getting some like really dark fruit.
Very dark fruit. Like Bourbon County dark fruit.
Exactly right. Yeah. It's again, I don't dislike this, and it's made me curious to try more from them and see what else they have to offer, because this is a very interesting take. But this isn't, I don't think I would, if you were just like, you've had this before, you can buy it again, it's $50, I'd be like, I'm good. I would totally pay $20 for this bottle.
I'd do 30. I think 30 is fair for that bottle, which would mean, so that's a 500 ml, which would mean 45 for 750.
Yeah, see
that seems side project realm, right? Like $50 for
it does, but I mean, I'd probably buy the side project before this. Yeah, I agree.
If I compare this though to side project beer Anabasis, which is probably not my favorite. Like I don't love Anabasis. It's an American barley wine by them. They're close, and I don't love Anabasis. Yeah. So it's like for me, would I buy the membership? Probably not. I don't think so. And then the beer itself, I don't think I'd buy it for $50.
I tell you what, if any of our tens of fans are
12s probably
have a membership to Private Press and you got bottles that you're sitting on, let us know. I would happily pay you cash for whatever you paid for it, plus a little extra, because I actually want to try more. And I'm not going to get the membership to do that, but I would be curious to try some to see where else they go with this kind of stuff.
So one last thing. What do you think about the rating? I know Untappd. So Untappd's a 1 to 5 scale. Yeah. It's a 4, 5, 8. I think it's high.
I think it is high. I would give this between a 4 and a 4.25.
Yep, right there.
And I think they get a little skewed when you have fewer ratings, because the people that are rating this are the people that paid a high dollar amount in order to be in the membership. So they're going to want to validate their decision.
But if you compare, I agree, but if you compare this rating to a side project rating on the low scale, like low ratings, they're averaging a 4.8. This is averaging a 4.58.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. So it tells me even the people that are like trying to hype it up are like, I don't want to hype it too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
seriously.
I get that. Yeah.
So I think they've tempered some expectations.
I agree. For more Arsenic Culture, check us out on all the socials. We are at Arsenic Culture, and we will see you on the next one.